boom. Stream started. Hello, YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, this will be uploaded as a separate video. Don't worry, guys. If you missed it live, don't worry. We got you covered.
Hey, guys.
All right. Basically... Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We'll wait for people to file in here a little bit.
Yeah. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
I gotta get your Twitch up actually. Gotta see what.
Yeah,
I'm
get
like,
the chat up.
Do I want to look at your chat or don't I?
Yes, no, they're good. They're good. They're good. You might not want to look at what Alan R says. My mod, we don't know about him, but anyone else perhaps, yeah.
Let me see how to pop this thing out.
And is your camera mirrored normally or just for the podcast today? This is the setup we have to go with, bro. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. This is the first time I've done like this.
Oh, yeah, that's because you're screen capping it, right? Like,
yeah.
I was just Googling that because I noticed that my preview was also mirrored, but apparently the people you send it to, it's not mirrored.
Yep.
So I think you see mine the way it should be.
Can you guys do the combined chat thing? I don't think Ghost is streaming.
I'm not, because I don't have any way to really, like, capture... Well, I could have captured us both, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't think that far.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to... I went with... At the last second, I went with crop talk. We're going to maybe try to do it. You know, I debated... Ghost and I were talking off camera. We were going, you know, what are we going to call this? And he was like, I think crop talk might rub some people the wrong way. But, you know, we'll...
They'll deal with it. They'll be fine.
We'll... I mean, fuck them, honestly. All right. Thank you for coming on, Ghost.
My pleasure.
Some people say we upload the same videos. That's fine. You know, there's nothing else going on. So
yeah.
Very cool to see you guys together. Yes, we're gonna discuss a bunch of things. So at the end of this, we're gonna try to keep this about an hour long, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of this, we're probably gonna have like maybe a 5 to 10 minute Q&A. So maybe write down questions you want to ask, and we'll go over them when we get done with the topics. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about the reveal of Battlefield 6, what's going on with that. Are we going to get the reveal tomorrow? Because remember, June 17th is the next rumored date, or the thing that's being hyped up because of that EA, what was it, the EA app leak, right? With the big UI thing. We're going to talk about movement Redditors, who I will also have on the podcast. That should be heated. And good luck with that. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, that should be interesting. And exactly, Beep Boop. Thank you for the resub. We'll cover the BF6 class stuff and a bunch of other stuff in between, like vehicles. How are you? How are you, Ghost Gaming? What's going on in the land of YouTube?
Of Iceland?
Yeah.
YouTube and all that.
You live in Iceland?
Good. Yeah, man.
How are the volcanic activity? What? No, I did not.
Yeah, dude.
I did not know
been like
that.
several eruptions here in like the past, I don't know, year or so. It just like about 50 kilometers away from where I live, so it just keeps going off.
I live in a very nothing ever happens land. Just nothing. I mean, there's just no barely anything. Oh my god, it like rained hard or snow, but
yeah, I mean, it sounds more dangerous than it actually is, I think, but
yeah,
I don't know, outside of trying to not spontaneously combust, yeah, just the same as you, dude, you know, hanging on in there, making videos on whatever we can, and like crossing fingers and toes, I guess, that the game is actually going to be good.
So about BF6, so do you think we're going to get the reveal tomorrow? Because it's my birthday tomorrow, so maybe, I don't know,
Really?
Maybe they're playing 4D chess, and they're going...
Maybe you're actually on, like, you've climbed to the top of DICE's whitelist, where they're just like, Ender's birthday, we're going to make that the reveal.
Yeah, for sure, I'm sure that happens.
That's got to be it, dude.
It has to be that. It would kind of make sense if the reveal's tomorrow, because, you know, it's mid-June, and it's people's expectations. I heavily doubt it though. I don't think we're gonna get it. I actually think there's a good chance that we don't get it in June, which might be abnormal, but I can't shake EA CEO Andrew Wilson saying in the earnings call deliberately, we're leaving the window open to delay the game. Like, they don't just say that. Andrew Wilson doesn't just say that randomly in an earnings call to like investors. That's deliberately put in there. So maybe the game will be delayed and we have to wait until, I don't know, March something 2026 and the reveal will be later. That would be unfortunate. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think, yeah, like you say, the reveal kind of depends on what their planned release date is, right? And all they've said so far is that it's coming by the end of next March. So that could really mean anything. Like, it could be as late as games come in August. But personally, I think they're probably just gonna drop like an announcement for an announcement. I reckon what'll happen is Kevin will go on Twitter and he'll say, guys, there's a premiered video tomorrow. That's going to be a teaser, maybe with a name drop. And then that will be an announcement that in like a week's time, there's going to be like a deep dive event.
Okay.
So that they can get the press in and whatnot.
What do you think about the Jack Frags number thing? Because there are all sorts of theories. I covered one where a guy was subtracting all the numbers from each other in a certain combination, and 69 kept coming up. And based on the upload date of the video, June 11th, 69 days away from June 11th, is Gamescom opening night. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the big speculation right now, I guess.
Like that meme with the guy with all the strings on the board.
Yes.
Like, what does it mean?
I use that picture in the video. I go, guys, this video is going to be exactly like this picture right here.
Yeah, I did scroll through, like, I think I found it on a Reddit comment or a Reddit post, and I looked through some of the comments and the theories. I was like, I don't know, dude. Jack Franks, sure, he's a big content creator, but I just don't buy that they're like, Jack, we're gonna let you like tease the reveal for the game.
You know what? I actually do buy that. I think he's played BF7. Yeah. I think he's played like BF7 after BF6 already. I really do.
That's like the running meme, right? Like, we all know Jack's designing the game.
No, we know this. Like, this is not this is not secret information. I do think it would be I do think the window of opportunity for Battlefield is like as free as ever though. So even if they do decide to reveal the game later or release the game later into 2026, I'm not really worried about it anymore. I used to be like, oh my god, you know, they have to release the game this year. Obviously the extra wait would suck if we had to wait, because knowing it, we've basically waited since honestly the start of BF5. That's my opinion. Like, some people like BF5 more than others. I did not. So the wait really was like, it's gonna be like 8 years at this point for some people, 8.5 if they push it towards 2026. So
yeah, I think, you know, I don't think they're that worried about GTA 6 personally. Like, especially since if it comes out in March, like, I think what they could do is just like, okay, the game comes out, and then whenever GTA 6 launches, they just say, well, we're not going to put out like a season then. We'll just take a breather, you know, and then like once a month after that game or something, or a few weeks after, then they just say, okay, let's just continue. It's like, sure, it's going to have some kind of an effect, but like, you know, every game does. Games come out and people play them all the time, right? And they're going to put their main game down for a while they do that. So I don't think they're stressing too much about it. But I don't know, partly like based on like what we've seen from leaks and stuff, I wouldn't be like against it coming out next year, just so it's like more of a given that it's going to release in like a half decent state. Which never happens.
And that's a great segue into the most important thing about the release, which is, I've said for a long time, the first impressions of the game, which may or may not have already happened due to the leaks, but the real first impression of the game is like the most important thing possible. Because if you remember with 2042, as soon as people see how messed up that game is, it's over. It really is. Like, you cannot have all these articles saying game's a complete mess, You can't have the most amazing thing about your game being posted on Reddit and everywhere being just how buggy it is and how catastrophically unfinished it is with 0 content. The first impression of BF6, delay the game to save the first impression. It's literally that important. They have to do it that way, in my opinion.
Yeah. Especially with like what people are like on Steam reviews these days, right?
Oh my god.
Like, people will leave you a negative
unless you're
review.
Delta Force.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe they need to call up like Team Jade, man, who made Delta Force and be like, "Yo guys, how are you doing these numbers?"
Dude, it's funny.
What's going on?
A bit of a off topic. Have you seen people getting copyright striked for that?
Yeah.
Maxic tweeted. I think Maxic or someone tweeted. They don't actually know what's going on, and they're gonna figure it out. Good.
Yeah.
So that's great for creator trust. Anyway, I guess we'll segue into the. What do you want to do? Movement or class system next?
We can go classes if you want, because I did have a point to sort of tag on to the end of what you were saying before. Like, I think there's a lot of different things to look at with it, but just based on that, just based on the community perception and what I would say the majority want, which seems to be locked classes.
Yes.
Like, just that small thing is enough for people to go to Steam and be like,
yep,
negative review, boom.
And that's why I've been so adamant in every video that I make. I say, guys, it doesn't matter what my personal opinion is. I'm aware for the pure community perception of BF6, it is absolutely essential they listen to the community on this issue because of the exact thing you just mentioned. The Battlefield community is petty like that, dude. One little tiny thing that is super important in their eyes that you don't do, it's like the absolute end of the world. They will complain about it forever. Same thing with the server browser, same thing with a bunch of other things. But my whole thing with the class system is, okay, we take a look at the way BF6 class system like allegedly works. So what they're doing is, at a base level, is in BF6 they're trying to define the classes via means other than weapons playing a defining role. And they're trying to bolster the class's importance via traits and these other aspects they're trying to add. But people want weapons to play a defining role. In their mind, they feel like to use a certain weapon type, you have to play a certain class. And in other people's minds, it helps the readability of the gameplay and all that sort of thing. So you have to give them what they want in that aspect. But the thing that's been so confusing with me this whole time is they're begging for class-locked weapons, and they go and ask for a system like Battlefield 4's weapon system, which does not really do that. Like, and that's been a huge misunderstanding.
Neither here nor there in a way.
Yeah, like, okay, you want the BF4 class weapon system. If they want it, no, give it to them. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to give them that if they want weapons to play a defining role. They should go give them the BF1 or like BF3 system where it's really strict. And I've made an entire video where I outline, you know, exactly how I'd go about class locking weapons and all this sort of stuff. I think they want stricter weapon restrictions to really define the classes on top of the gadgets and the traits doing it.
I think like a big issue with Battlefield's community is that DICE have all through Battlefield 2042 and, you know, even BF5, they've had this kind of hardline approach where, like, we know what's best. The community, you don't know. And they've proven time and time again that they actually don't know what they're doing. And usually what the community has said is correct. And just to draw an example, and not because I was personally involved in it, but the whole thing with the squad kick feature, right? They were just like, they literally had, you know, a team at EA, I believe, who were in charge of like anti-toxicity stuff, right? So they were, that was like one of their mandates. They were like, no, we can't have a kick feature. So they didn't want to have that, you know, and then they ended up sort of doing a 180, listening to the community, getting rid of it. And what effect did it have on the game? Like, literally none.
Yeah.
Like, it might not be the best metaphor because the class system does have a big effect on the game. But I think because of these experiences, the community just do not want to trust DICE and EA at all. And they just kind of think, you know, like what we feel is correct, because you've never proven when you take a new approach that it's the right one, like specialists and stuff. So they're
Yeah.
kind of like wary in that regard.
Yeah, it's a great point. The community really,
Like you
they
can't blame them either.
no, you can't blame them. And I'm in the boat too. Like, hey, you guys need to prove it to us, right? Again, like they need to win the community's trust back with their decision making. And I think a lot of that comes with just giving people what they've been asking for this whole time. That's with the server browser. That's with, you know, a bunch of these community features. Like people have been begging for platoons to come back. People have been begging for, you know, a really fleshed out squad management to be in the game. Of course, a scoreboard on launch and all these other legacy features, right? They actually did call them legacy features, which is crazy. There's an anti-toxicity team at EA with that that did not want squad kicking in the game.
I don't remember how I discovered that. I think I found it on like looking at Glassdoor reviews or something, that they brought in this team at some point and then they were dissolved because they realized like, what the fuck are we doing?
Dude, I had to be I must have been like a wanted poster on their wall or something in that office. That's crazy. Yeah. Oh no.
Could have been. But yeah, like I think as well with the class system, it is kind of two aspects, and for me, like gameplay wise, I don't know if I'm that against it being open. Like I'm up for seeing what they can do with it. Like I think if the proficiencies or whatever they're called, if they can do that right, which they clearly couldn't in Battlefield 2042, then like maybe it's going to be okay. But on the other end of the spectrum, I do think that like the classes and Battlefield in general loses some of its intrinsic Battlefield formula.
Yes.
Like, and maybe more so in some classes than others. If I think about Recon, like I'm not really thinking, oh, look, like I'm running around with a Tugs beacon and a spawn. I'm just thinking I'm a dude with a sniper rifle.
Yes.
That's like, if I had to draw a Recon soldier, I draw a dude in a ghillie suit with a sniper rifle. Assault and stuff, not so much. Yeah, okay, you've got an assault rifle, but it's maybe more so the gadgets that come with it as well.
It's more open in terms of, I suppose, what they can use, because it's just down to the way they balance the weapons, right? Assault rifles are only defined by really the way their damage models are. That's the only thing that separates them between carbines and other weapons in the game. It's basically just math defining the weapons. So
yeah.
But yeah, with 2042, it's proven to me that I personally don't. I used to think I cared about the class system. I guess my gameplay is personally completely unaffected by not having a class system in the game, and that I guess it just comes down to just the way that I play. Like, but what I've also noticed is leaving weapons open and allowing you to use any weapon in any class, especially in a game of specialists. Once I find my 2 or 3 specialists I play, I'm not playing anything else. Like you can look at my you can look at my my playtime on my stats. I want to say I'm mastery level maybe 5,600 on McKay.
Yeah.
With like 330,000 kills.
And then Falk's got to be in second place, presumably.
Falk is in second place with, get this, 60.
What, kills?
60 mastery level.
Okay.
In comparison to 5,000 something.
Yeah.
That's how little I've had. That's how little I felt pressure to switch classes in 2042. To take care of any situation. I simply do not have to do that. Because McKay does everything, right? But that's more of an issue with specialists other than classes. But I'm just saying, if they leave weapons open, I'm playing medic. I'm healing myself permanently, and that's the gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people disagree with this, I think, but that's why I didn't like Battlefield 4's assault class. And I think that's one of the things they sort of quoted was that, oh, you know, the data has shown that like in Battlefield 4, everybody played assault. So surely assault rifles must be overpowered, and they're locked to that class, so everybody plays it. but they also had revives and they also had heals. And like for
Yes.
me, that's where I'm going. I'm going to the medic class. Like,
Yeah.
in anything that lets me heal and stay alive longer, unless I need to kill a vehicle, that's where I'm going to be at. That's why I never really play recon. I'm like, that is the one class, in my opinion, they need to really like figure out. I don't know. They need to give it some like
They're
some
trying
special
to do
treatment
that
or something.
in BF6. It looks like they're trying to give it what in the leaks that suggested mortar strikes, and it automatically spots you if you aim at somebody, and then if you body shot somebody, they're with a bolt action, they can't regen health, and on top of that, if you hit them, they're spotted. It's like, holy shit. I think it's a slippery slope with recon, because okay, if their purpose is reconnaissance, spotting a bunch of people, you have to be so deliberate and so careful with how much spotting and how easy you make spotting in Battlefield, because in 2042 spotting is insanely strong. Like, you play Casper, you play these Blasco classes, you know, you set down a Blasco jammer, and I swear to God, after this podcast is over, I'm going to play the game and I'm going to see this exact thing. These Blasco players put a tugs down in their jammer radius and they never move, and they farm 200 assists a game, perma spotting my team. Okay, so spotting is a very slippery slope. They need to be very careful with how they go about, if they're going to take that route of defining recon or making it more important in the gameplay. I don't even really have an ideas of how they could do that. I think they just need to make sure they give recon good tools like the spawn beacon, and in my opinion also C4, because that's how it was in Battlefield 4, to give it something else, right? Don't give them these drones. You know, I wasn't a fan of the Casper drone, because inevitably what happens, I'm sure you've noticed this, your team, especially, even on Redacted, like I was going to say especially outdoor maps, but even on Redacted, there's always that one Casper drone that's left in the air the entire game, and you can't shoot it because, of course, the fucking hit reg doesn't work on it. You see shots dusting off of it, and your team is spotted for the whole game. So if they need to take some things away, they need to give them some things, but... Yeah.
Well, you know, as we know, KDR doesn't matter in this. So recon is actually the best class in the game.
For sure.
You know, you can climb the scoreboard, dude.
Did you see my tweet on that guy that my Discord, somebody in my Discord found a person that played Casper for 3,500 hours with a 0.15 KD and 0.05 kills per minute with a 1.24 kills per match.
Yeah.
Absolute cinema.
Like, I made a video on this once just to show that you could... I never played Casper. I just camped, I flew the drone, and that was it. And I think I got second place. I almost got third place. And you know what the reception to that was? Everyone was shat on me, dude. Everybody was like, well, spotting's really important, man. Like, you know, that's what helps our team win. So you deserve to be at the top of the scoreboard.
You got shit on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like I kind of expected people to be like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. You know, you can get to the top of the scoreboard by just staying in cover, not taking any risks. And then they all completely disagreed with me. But
they're all wrong.
To think that getting a bunch of kills and not many deaths is meaningless. So yeah.
Okay, well, the reason why you can get to the top of the scoreboard with assists is because of the score system, right? And Battlefield players love their score, right? But what is it really? It's a bunch of arbitrary values assigned to random actions in the game, right?
Yeah.
And DICE says, oh, this action is worth this, and this action is worth that. And score does not matter.
You contributed, right?
Yeah. Score is... You should never be able to place that highly purely on assists. It's just DICE allows score to be pushed that high purely by assists, which pushes you up the scoreboard. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know how the hell we got on to talking about Battlefield 2042.
This is just how this goes. Yeah. Make a cooldown on the drone. Yeah, I mean, they have a cooldown. I guess now we could talk about, since we talked about you getting shit on by everybody on your YouTube video, we could talk about the Battlefield 6 movement stuff. and just movement
Yeah,
in
that
Battlefield
whole-
in general. And you've had an interesting experience recently with one of the most controversial games when it comes to Battlefield movement. You said you don't play Battlefield 1 very much, and you've been playing it recently. So what is your tell the class, what has your experience been with Battlefield 1's gameplay recently?
It's been a learning experience, that's for sure. So like just for transparency's sake, I kind of stopped playing Battlefield once BF1 came out, mainly just because I didn't really like the vehicle play, and I kind of came in towards the end of BF5. So like I've never really played the game, so I decided to revisit it. Put some new gameplay on YouTube and whatnot. And then I realized that there's just like no movement mechanics. It seems very slow. Like there's no tactical sprint. There is a slide, but it seems kind of pointless to use it. Even mantling, like sometimes in a gunfight you try to kind of get them from an unexpected angle, maybe mantle over the wall, but that usually ends up in you dying as well. So to me, it just feels like you don't have as many options when you're playing infantry, and it's more you're rewarded for taking it slower, which from my experience seems to like increase the number of campers, like the number of people who are just holding corners, prone on the ground, in a corner, on a flag. You get rewarded for that sort of play more.
And
Versus
there's
the
no way
aggressive play.
there's no way to skillfully sort of brute force that. There's no way to sort of skillfully brute force via movement mechanics and sort of outplay that guy. Okay, so there's a guy camping in a corner. I hit a slide in the open and I turn on him and he dies, right? Like, or
exactly.
I know he's close to the corner. He's prone. I slide around the door and I shoot him in the face and he dies. Boom. Like,
no,
you can't
just
do that
got
in BF1.
positioning, and that's pretty much it. Like,
yeah, and it's a shame with that BF1 stuff. And this is what I'm afraid. This is why I'm afraid of this happening in BF6. BF1 was specifically designed with the slide in mind. People don't talk about this enough, in my opinion. When they were making Battlefield 1's gameplay, they were designing it with the fact that there was a movement option in mind. The first slide nerf in BF1, I think it had something to do with fixing hitboxes. Maybe someone in the chat can absolutely make sure I'm correct on that. But it had something to do with fixing the hitbox of it. But the second slide nerf essentially effectively removed its usefulness from the game. And the slide became a purely defensive action, which some people really argue for. But it was so like brutal. It was such a removal of the effectiveness of the slide that it heavily hindered Battlefield 1's gameplay because they didn't replace that movement option with anything else. Because you can't jump peek in BF1 either, which is extremely abnormal for Battlefield gameplay. You also can't crouch spam, and they also nerfed strafing. So every single thing you can do in BF1 was either basically useless in gameplay or heavily nerfed. So
I noticed that as well, that strafing is super slow.
Yeah.
So
they nerfed that too.
If somebody is holding an angle and you strafe out there, like you're a dead man. Almost always, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Battlefield community's opinions for this are, some people argue, oh, the BF1 movement post nerfs matches the setting of the game more. And I've always felt arguing how the movement should be based on the setting is like such a bullshit argument when it comes to Battlefield, because we can go back and look at other Battlefield games such as BF2 or BF3 and BF4. Like, what about movement is setting based? I've just never understood the argument. Like, oh, and this is where BF5 comes in, because the joke is always, oh, sliding wasn't invented until World War II or something. Like, what's the big deal with these? What's the big deal if it's in a World War I game? I just don't understand the setting argument. But then a lot of other people, and this is where you see a ton of people on Reddit and a ton of people in YouTube comments, they always reiterate this. Movement is a very touchy subject, because as soon as you mention the fact that you're in support of jump peeking or crouch spamming or the sprint speed being like an average acceptable sprint speed, a lot of community members always jump the gun and immediately think, okay, you want, you know, Titanfall, you want Call of Duty, you want to jump off the walls or any of this stuff. And I just feel like there's almost never a solid conversation about it. It always devolves.
Yeah, there's like no in between. There's one or there's the other.
And I tried to fix that slightly. I made a video called The History of Battlefield Movement, which featured a lot of things people didn't know about. And I made a second video that actually showed movement examples per game, like from very talented players. And
I think I saw that, right? I think you were showing some BF4 stuff, like with the Zuzu and
no, I left that out.
Craziness. Oh, really? Okay.
I left all that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like unintended stuff that can be used in gameplay. But I focused on the things that really were in the game, and I just showed people like, this is how Battlefield plays. Like, and I think that might be part of the problem. The Battlefield community doesn't really know how Battlefield plays sometimes. They have their perspective, and I do think console in particular does skew people's perception of how Battlefield plays, because if you look at BF1 console gameplay versus BF1 PC or BF4 console versus BF4 PC, they're very different, right? The way the game looks and plays is very different. But that doesn't mean the games are any different. You know, it's just you can still do the things you can do on console that you can do on PC for the most part, including like on BF4, the ADS stabilization jump. You can still do that on controller.
Yeah. I think the FOV plays a big part there as well.
Yeah, the FOV as well. That was something people were getting really fooled about in BF6 gameplay. You would see gameplay from somebody that looks like they haven't gone in the settings menu, and people would be like, oh man, we're so back. Like, the movement looks weighty and grounded. And then you see someone that is maybe not even a more skilled player. They just went in the settings menu and turned the FOV up, and they're like, oh my god, this looks way too fast. It's like, what?
Honestly, from what I've seen, I think it looks like it's in a good spot. Like, there are movement mechanics. There is a slide. There's no tac sprint. There is, like, I think I've seen some clips of, like, you know, you can go prone sort of on your back. What they call it, supine or something, right? But then somebody will upload some small video, like, I think there was a Chinese leaker, and he was dolphin diving, like, to the left and the right down all these alleyways and stuff.
Yeah,
but every time he did it, he died.
Yeah.
But still people got annoyed about it because they were like, what? Like, this is possible? Yeah, but he died. So this clearly showcases that this is not a good idea. Like, this is clearly designed more to get into cover, to get out of dodge, not as an offensive ability. You probably can use it offensively in some situations, but I would guess you're going to die as much as you're not.
I think I remember the thread you were talking about, and I commented on there. I said, this action not only is being able to shoot your weapon delayed, right? So it's not like you can dive and shoot seamlessly. You can dive, and there's a period of probably about a half a second that you have to wait until you hit the ground, then you can shoot. If you're playing against any sort of decent player, even a mediocre player that's just looking at where you are while you're doing it, if they're looking at their monitor, they're probably going to kill you in that situation. So it's not like it's super fluid. And I was telling them, like, this action looks, again, like you said, purely defensive, and 99.9% of the time, if you try to use this aggressively, you are just not going to survive in that situation. So, yeah.
I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. At the same time, I don't want like incredibly cheesy mechanics, like being able to bunny hop halfway across the battlefield and
like
stuff like that to be in there. Yeah, like that's pretty cheap. Like, I do it because it's in the game, and I'm like, I'm going to do it if that's the best way to approach a certain situation, then that's what I'm going to use, right? But I still I understand when people are like, dude, this is cheesy as heck.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I've played McKay for, I don't even know, probably 2,000 something hours, like I said. I
Yeah,
am
yeah.
an absolute master when it comes to grapple hooking and jumping at 80,
Yeah.
literally 80 meters,
And
jumping
like
in a
and like
straight line.
to be fair, there is a skill gap in that. That does add something to
It's
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 well,
not that big. I'm gonna be honest. Like
okay.
it's real
True,
easy to do in
true. Well,
2042.
how many people don't know how to do it? Would you guess?
That's I don't know. I mean, I'll
Probably the
this is
majority.
how bunny hopping with McKay works in that game. You literally jump, slide in midair, so you land sliding, jump again, grapple hook, then you land sliding again, and then you literally just jump in a straight line, and you just time the jump.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't
Yeah,
know. That's
exactly.
like what
Right, but
4 buttons,
the majority still don't know how to do that though.
I guess. And
Like easily the
I
casual,
understand. Like
yeah, yeah.
I get people don't want me to or other people to be able to jump 80 meters in a straight line. Like I totally understand that, and if they remove that from the game, or like the real core of it is you're able to increase momentum based on jumping and then chaining jumps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you do it downhill. So you can jump, land sliding, you gain the momentum from going downhill, then you can carry that momentum a great distance with jumping. That is the core of what people I think don't like. On top of the ability to chain jumps in general. I get that. I just don't want an X Defiant situation where, for instance, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but I'll explain it for people that maybe are listening to this.
I played it a couple of games.
X Defiant was on this whole like anti-movement spam thing where they really tried to limit the amount of actions you could do in a row, and past a certain amount of jumps in place, your crosshair would do not a slight figure eight, like a hard figure eight, and it was horrible feeling. So I think I'm not a fan of that type of penalty. I would be more in favor of something like Battlefield 5 when it comes to jumping like that, where you don't really have any side-to-side movement while you're jumping while shooting. But if you're jumping while shooting, if you remember in that game, your sight was like all over the place. That is a better way of doing it, in my opinion, because it was difficult enough to do it where you would really have to know what you're doing. You know, like you couldn't just spam it. It was something you really had to get used to and learn. Because for each individual weapon, the way the sight moved in BF5 was different when you were jumping while shooting. So you did have to understand this weapon has a certain animation and I have to aim a certain way if I'm going to actually do that. On top of having to place it correctly. Because we'll get into jump peeking. People hate, a lot of people hate jump peeking in Battlefield, but it really is one of the most important things for a skill gap in a Battlefield game, because we saw this in Battlefield 1. When you don't have jump peeking, it's almost impossible to sort of brute force a situation with skill where a guy is holding a doorway or head glitching somewhere. And the reality is, a lot of the time, if you're dying to someone that's jump peeking in Battlefield, you kind of did get outplayed, because even in games like 2042, I'm in the open. Like, I am flying myself in the open a lot of the time, even if I'm timing it well and I'm placing it well and I'm aware of what cover's there and I'm trying to make the fight a 1v1. If you're in a head glitch with any sort of good aim, you're going to kill that player most of the time, especially if you notice you don't have to take that fight. That's what people miss a lot of times. The person on the head glitch or the person that's getting jump peeked, if you're in cover, just crouch. A lot of the times the person that jump peeked is like, oh shit, now what do I do?
Yeah, I mean, they're the one taking the risk.
Exactly. You know? They're the one with the risk in the situation.
I kind of think what rubs people the wrong way, though, is like players who use these mechanics to their advantage, they're generally good players. Like, you don't really see somebody with super trash aim who's also using all these movement. Like, the two, I'm not saying always, but usually kind of go hand in hand. And I think people just want something to blame for when they die to a good player.
Yeah.
You know, because it's very it takes a big man to say, "Oh, I just suck. Like I got outplayed. I'm just not as good as that guy." Like people just can't say that,
Hmm.
you know. And so I think they generally try to just blame something for it. But
Well,
in my opinion,
here's my opinion on that. How is that my fucking problem? You know,
yeah, I'm saying like the
why is
truth
that the
is,
game's problem?
yeah,
Why
yeah,
should we
yeah.
change the game?
If they remove an ability, that player is still going to beat the other player. They're just not going to have, let's say, sliding in
And
there,
that's
but
what
they're probably
happens.
still going to.
BF1 is living proof. But if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
boot
yeah,
up
yeah,
BF1,
exactly.
I still have a 4.5 kill per minute.
Yeah,
Nothing has
yeah,
changed. Like because I understand how to position. You can
yeah,
give
yeah.
me all these extra movement mechanics that I'll use, but you can also take him away. And guess what? Like, yeah, I'm gonna be really actively fucking annoyed about it. However,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna position, and you will still lose most of the time.
It's almost like if you kill me in such an unhonorable manner as to jump around a corner and shoot me, I'm pissed off. But if you snipe me from afar or something, or just peek me around a corner very slowly and shoot me, I'll be like, "Well played, sir. Well played."
Yeah, yeah.
Now, now it's no
Especially
problem,
if you
you know.
sweet spot me by accident in BF1, I will really commend you for that.
Yeah.
I think the core of it is I understand people don't want insane, like crazy movement in Battlefield, but I want what Battlefield has always really excelled at, which is having movement that's accessible and understandable and easy to pick up,
Mhm.
that simultaneously offers something to learn. And a game that perfectly does that is Battlefield 4. We're not talking
Yeah.
about any of the movement glitches. That's obviously, Vuzu, Zuzu, Ruzu, Muzu. Those are all
Yeah,
real,
it's
by the way.
unintended.
Those are like unintended. But BF4 air strafing, BF4 crouch spam. The strafe speed wasn't, so fast, but it wasn't so slow. There was stuff to learn. And I don't think gameplay depth is a bad thing. I just don't.
No.
Even if like 1% of players are going to reach like an elite level, it's still 1% of players. That's what I don't understand in a lot of these arguments. Like, people try to make it seem like they're playing against competitive players every game. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I barely see this,
Well, that's the good thing about Battlefield, in my opinion, is that there is sort of a place for all kinds of players.
Yeah.
Because first of all, well, hopefully there's not strong SBMM.
Oh
But
my
second of
God.
all, you've got all these different roles, right? That you can, like, if you're
Easy
not
to play,
a
hard to
great
master
like
mentality is
infantry player or whatever,
unfortunately gone from every
and you
single
enjoy,
studio.
just like throwing down med bags and reviving people and putting down spawn beacons and maybe sniping from afar, then like, fair enough. Like you can go and do that. So it's everybody can fill some sort of a role in the game, whether it's using stingers to lock onto aircraft, my friggin' worst enemies. But like I understand it, right? Like they're not maybe that great at using stuff like what is it called? The one in BF4 that like the SRAW.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of a skill weapon, right? So they use a stinger instead, and that's like totally fine. Like I understand some people just play the game every once in a while. They don't have the time and dedication to put into it to become really good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really like the beauty of Battlefield, right? You've got room for those players, and also they're really good players as well, and it's all just kind of mixed in one bag.
Yeah. And really, the core of what I want with like BF6, I'm looking at the leaks. The movement looks totally fine, in my opinion. I don't think they really need to make any changes to it. I've seen people jump peak. I've seen people do all this sort of stuff. It looks acceptable. Okay, but what I don't want to see happen is the community continues to complain and they just gut everything. And then like
Yeah.
all that depth is gone. For what reason? Like
I I I don't know, like with the whole labs thing and them making the game with us, the community, I feel like they are, but I also get the feeling that they're not going to budge on a lot of stuff. For example,
no,
the class system.
I'm sure they won't actually. Like you're probably right about that. I don't
Yeah.
think they will make huge fundamental changes like that, where they completely redesign the entire class system. And maybe they will. Maybe we're both wrong. But if history says anything, DICE is pretty dead set in what they're going to do on particular things.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised to see them 180 on that.
Yeah, I think the blog that they put out about that was very much a...
this is our direction.
This is our direction. We're trying to make you understand.
Yes.
Not a, oh, what do you guys think about this? Let us know.
Yeah.
But of course, we did regardless. But yeah, I would be extremely surprised. But I think some people are also saying like, well, they're supposed to be making the game with us, so why can't they change that? Why they're actually doing it though, is it really worth all of the trouble? Is it worth, like we were talking about earlier, the potential negative reviews on Steam, yada, yada, yada? There's a part of me that just thinks it's business-minded, partially, because of cosmetics. The same reason they put specialists in Battlefield 2042.
That is one of the things people have been saying. Open weapons allow people to use the skins they bought on every class.
Yeah,
and I can't deny that that's actually true. And they probably know that.
Yeah. Somebody else pointed out, I think on my Twitter a while ago, a really good point. That when they make the seasonal content, they don't really have to make as many weapons if they're all open.
You expect to not.
Like, they can potentially just be like, okay, we've got 2-3 weapons and anyone can use them. So here you go, guys. Whereas if everything's locked, then you're like leaving out, you know, the recon player or whatever. Or you're saying like, well, you want to use a new assault rifle, you got to play the assault class, even if you don't want to. Maybe like a minor thing there, but I don't know. I really hope they give us more content with each season this time.
Oh, it's a complete non-negotiable for me. Absolutely non-negotiable. If they do not give us, dude, bare minimum acceptable content for me is, let's say the seasons are what, every I think 4 months. Two brand new maps per 4 months minimum, on top of at least 4 to 6 new weapons that in that sort of area. I've spoken to people that make weapons and design this sort of stuff for games. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. The balancing aspect of the weapons is actually the part that takes that long. It's not really, from what I've heard from people that actually make this stuff, the animations and all that, you give someone that as their daily task for about 3 days, done. Should be done, especially for a big studio such as, you know, DICE and all these other studios like Criterion and all these other guys. They should be able to hammer that out just fine. So I don't think 2 maps per season with 4 to 6 weapons on top of you know, battle pass and assignments and whatever else they have, that is bare minimum for me.
They need to just get ahead like they weren't in Battlefield 2042, right? It was so evident that game came out, and you know, they didn't have a single thing ready for season 1, and then they had to fix the game, of course. So hopefully this time they've actually got something prepared for season 1, season 0, whatever they call it. Yeah, man.
So you're talking about stingers now that are the bane of your existence. That vehicle design in BF6, huge thing for actually me as well. Because I don't know if you know this, I used to fly in BF3 and 4 as like my main gameplay. In attack,
really?
Yeah, attack helicopters, attack jets, stealth jets, dogfighting, all that sort of stuff. And in tanks as well. I loved BF4's vehicle design. BF4's vehicle design has yet to be topped. And I think if BF6 doesn't use BF4's vehicles as a baseline in terms of mechanics, things like the way infantry versus vehicle balance was done with tanks, right? And the way reactive armor worked on tanks and speed control in jets, all these mechanics, the weight of helicopters. If they're not based in BF6 off that, it's just going to be another game where vehicles feel lackluster, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, my feeling is that they know that that's the best system, and if they wanted to use it, they would have just copied it. And it looks like they haven't done that. And
Right.
I think it's because they just want to make it more casual. Because you'll know, right? BF4 jets, if you don't get the speed, like the difference between going in like 250
And 313.
is it kilometers an hour, knots or something? Whatever the number is,
Yeah.
whatever the unit is, I think it's kilometers per hour. And 315 is like you're turning half the speed,
Yes.
even though the number is like 50 less.
I
So
like
I
that
think
though.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's very unintuitive to a lot of people, and they're like, "Oh, dude." They probably looked again at data and said, "There's only like less than 5% of the player base using the jets. That's not great."
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think
Probably for
in
probably for DICE,
2042.
though.
I don't know. In 2042, one of the biggest problems I've noticed with vehicles is that it's a lot easier for people to just jump in them and be effective. And I don't think you actually want that to happen.
Yeah.
Because vehicles are a very powerful tool. Like, if you have a great tanker or a great heli team, they will run the server, you know? Within
Yeah.
reason. You know, people say there's not enough AA. We've both flown. There's a lot of AA. All right? That probably half the game is avoiding death, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think you want a lot of people being generally fairly effective in vehicles, because it just sort of waters things down, in my opinion. I really like when you actually have to spend time in the vehicles and learn things and understand like the little tiny aspects, like speed control, like seat switching, like you know, in BF4 people would fucking jump out of the helicopter. To the gunner would have fire extinguisher, the pilot would have flares or whatever. I think the setup was. You know what I'm talking about. They would jump out, seat switch, jump back in midair, then they do it again. It was insane, the stuff people theory crafted. Now, whether or not that's actually fair, you know, that's another debate. But I would love to see. I think there may be a middle ground here where you can go, okay, BF1 and 2042 vehicles and BF5 to a certain extent were maybe too simple in some areas, but we don't want the massive skill ceiling of BF4 vehicles necessarily. And there, like I said, massive. There's somewhere in between there where it could be acceptable, you know?
Yeah. I think, you know, with that big skill ceiling, you do end up with these like amazing players, and you'll know from the jets and stuff, there were all kind of crazy maneuvers, you know, you can pull off there, like
Jose Mar and a lot of these other dogfighters, dude. I was pretty good at dogfighting. I was like, if a pilot joined the server and get in the jet, there's like a 90% chance I could kill him. But like the people that only play jets in BF4, like the dogfighters that are in the dedicated discords, literally insane. Like very good. And I would put up a fight with them, but they would always just sort of eke out that fight.
Yeah, and then, you know, they dumbed stuff down in 2042, and then we saw all these guys like I said Focus was in the chat. I think even he started on Nightbird at the start, and then he just got bored because he was like, this is just too easy probably. And Silk did the same. Like, he mastered the Nightbird, was getting like ridiculous kill streaks, and then went, oh, this is just kind of too easy. So you lower the skill ceiling for everybody else, but you're also doing it for the best players.
Yeah,
you know,
Focus. I don't know if you're in the chat, if you want to comment on that, but
it's like you can't nerf football because Messi exists. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it just doesn't really make a lot of sense sometimes. But maybe the skill floor needs to be a bit lower. Maybe they kind of needed to also convey to people, oh guys, there's this mechanic for the jets, and this is how it works. Because people came to my channel to figure it the fuck out, you know? Like, that's literally what I built my first subs on, was like, people like, oh, there's this whole world of like flying jets. What? You know, that the game doesn't tell you. So
I think
it's such a complex game, they could have some more tutorials, to be honest.
No, for sure. And that's always something that I've felt Battlefield lacks entirely. They need fully fleshed out training range. I think that's a bare minimum requirement for modern games at this point, regardless of its casual or competitive. BF4 had that, you know, what is it, over a decade ago. So bring that back. And then one thing I want to touch on with vehicles, how do you feel about the BF5 way, where they kind of really heavily focus on the ammo aspect of vehicle design? And I think, you know, we'll take a look at the BF4 attack heli and how dominant attack heli teams can be in that game. I think the key to maybe sort of reel in the kill potential of those attack helis is you need to look at the way gunner ammo is handled. Now, whether you assign a certain amount of ammo, max ammo they can carry, reload times or something, you basically have to heavily focus on the ammo uptime / amount that the heli teams have. But it's very delicate balance, because if you give them too much, the ammo restriction doesn't matter, because they're going to get locked by a stinger, and where are they going to fly? The resupply zone. But if you give them too little, the uptime like almost isn't enough. So
yeah, because you're putting yourself in a lot of danger maybe as well to strafe and stuff.
Yeah, like for instance, if you gave the attack heli to attack heli gunner, let's say the max ammo capacity for a gunner is 20 bullets, then you give them 1 reload. So in total you have 40 ammo. That would be like too little, in my opinion. I think you need to give them, we could start with 4 reloads. So you start with 20 or 30, and then you give them 3 reloads. But
so I don't know if you noticed this in the recent leaks, but the attack heli gunner seat always got 30 rounds. I think 30 rounds in like the past games.
Yeah.
And like in BF4, I think you needed like 5 rounds. So you were like, bam, 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 you know, you kill like 5-6 guys.
You flip thermal on and
and you just flew over. In Battlefield 6, they've got kind of a new approach where you get 12 rounds, and it's very fast rate of fire. So you get this little like almost like a micro burst. Then it's a reload. Then you get another burst, and I think that maybe
that's how they're doing it. Okay.
Maybe, yeah, but it does seem like the reload is like extremely quick. I want to say it's like half a second.
But do you get unlimited ammo, or is it limited ammo?
You had limited ammo. Like, I think there was like, you know, but it was like, I think I saw 1,500 rounds or something.
1,500?
Yeah, which is ridiculous. So they probably want to rein that in a little bit. But
I haven't seen this actually.
Really? Okay.
1,500.
Yeah. I could be bullshitting. I don't know. They had a lot. It didn't seem like it was an issue. But like, I think attrition with air vehicles in general it's kind of like doesn't matter for jets, because you're just flying away anyway. Like,
yes, that was my point.
You do 180. Oh, I've got to go back to the ammo attrition thing in the sky or whatever. Big deal. I'll just do that. Maybe more of a deal for helicopters, because you don't want to leave like the area if you're deep into enemy territory. It's kind of a blag, right, to get back to base. So I'm not sure it's like a one-size-fits-all solution, or that it's really going to matter that much for air vehicles in general.
And you touched on attrition there. BF5 with the vehicle attrition. We noticed resupply stations in the BF6 leaks. And I think there was another separate leak where David Serland mentioned something about making sure the vehicle resupply points are in center, like basically the center flags of the map. Because in BF5, you had multiple resupply stations that were kind of back in the uncap, which led to tanks sitting in the back, never going too far away from the resupply stations. I think that's an interesting idea, because it does make the vehicles, right, the tanks, you can't really sit in the back of your map unless you're going to drive all the way back to your uncap. So you either have to go all the way back to your uncap, or you have to actually go in the center flags. I think that's the direction they should take with that. Now, whether or not, you know, people want vehicle attrition or like how it's balanced, that's another conversation. But I think that's interesting.
Yeah. I think the power, it's always been one of the hardest things to balance in a
Yeah.
Battlefield game. And a lot of infantry players seem to be of the opinion that they should be able to solo any vehicle
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
any time. And like, do you not realize that if that was the case, nobody would go in vehicle? There would be no point going in a vehicle.
The people that
if it
stand in the
was-
middle of an open field with a stinger while I have flares and I kill them unironically 18 times a game without them ever changing strategy, then they complain the vehicles are overpowered. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you are not playing the game correctly.
Yeah, and that's also the thing as well. You end up with some teams, like, and you'll know this, that just have insane anti-air. They just shut you down like that. And I quickly realize, okay, I'm not getting anything done in the jet.
No, it's over.
I'm just not going to spawn in the jet. Like it's done. But then you'll have some games where they just don't do a thing, and
they simply do not react.
Yeah, so it's almost like the last final bastion of team play in Battlefield that you actually really need good air defense.
Yes, and you also really need good team play to keep that air vehicle up. Like,
yeah,
this example is not really valid because of how broken the vehicle was. The Super Hind at the beginning of 2042, particularly Season 1 Super Hind, you guys will, in the chat, will know that I reminisce about how just disgusting this vehicle was. The most overpowered vehicle, in my opinion, ever added to Battlefield by far. We're talking about transport helicopter. It's not. It has a full auto 50mm cannon, dual miniguns, dual repair seats, climbs faster than the Little Bird, while it's 3 times the size with more health. Like, the amount of anti-air we would encounter, if you guys remember this in the chat, I'm not joking, 18 people, I think, one match were shooting stingers at us. And we were still not dying. That's how broken it was. So they need to they need to avoid that design.
Dude, that thing was something.
That thing was absolutely messed up. All right, well, it's about an hour now. Chat, if you guys have any questions you want to ask us, we'll probably take 5-10 minutes to answer you guys' questions about particular subjects, and then we'll probably wrap it up.
Cool. I'm just gonna be right back. Super quick, 1 minute, dude.
Yep. You guys can type your questions, and we'll go over them when he's back. Okay. Thank you guys for all the super chats and the resubs. By the way, I have not been ignoring them. I just, I'm kind of recording this, so thank you guys for that. How often will this be a podcast? Depends on the guests. Depends on the guests. I don't really know. I'll try for every 2 weeks. How about that? Ask about Gunplay. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Gun mechanics, okay. A lot of people want gunplay, suppression. Brain dead question, Dekaze. Asking 2 content creators to... Dekaze, you know if you get invited to the BF6 playtest, there's an NDA, right? You know that, right? You know what an NDA is? Like, obviously, Ghost Gaming is on EA's shit list because he leaked something accidentally in 2042, and they hate me. So none of us, we're not getting invited. But, like, you just ask 2 content creators to break an NDA live on stream, which is hilarious. So, want to address about jets? Yeah, Zhao, yeah. Is naval combat essential in Battlefield? All right, we'll go over these questions. I'm probably going to ask about the gunplay. Do you think a weapon absolutely needs accessories? 100%. Absolutely. 100%. Do we know which class drops ammo? Support. Support. Yeah. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you, man.
It seems they want to know about gunplay. What do we want BF6's gunplay to be like? I mean, from the leaks, it looks like they're continuing with the system that they started implementing in BF5 in 2042 and now BF6, where burst firing appears to be playing less of a role, and the guns are definitely overall easier to understand how to use. And they're pretty laser beamy from what I've seen. They look less accurate than the 2042 weapons for sure, especially released 2042. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think they definitely, at all costs, need to avoid the crazy laser beam, like 100+ meter weapons that they had in 2042 at release. I really thought the bursting in Battlefield 4 was pretty good. I felt like it, presented a good skill gap there, and it was a skill you had to learn. So I'd like to see that come back. I mean, a lot of the leaks I've seen, I think it's just people who don't know how to control recoil. So it sort of looks like there's mad recoil and spread and stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" But then you see somebody who actually knows how to play the game.
They're beaming,
and then all of a sudden it looks kind of beamy. So you're like, "Huh."
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
I 100% agree with you.
They can
sorry,
tweak it, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, continue, yeah.
I 100% agree with you. They definitely need to make burst firing way more important. They need to return to that BF4 system. One thing I think really, really skews people's opinions is suppression. I think people look at suppression and they don't realize how much it's actually affecting their gameplay, and then they blame it on the gunplay. So I think the fact that suppression is most likely not going to come back in a way that affects gunplay is huge. And you could really build off the BF4 burst fire system, maybe tighten up the most important thing about it, which is SIPs, spread increase per shot. You could tighten that up slightly to make the weapons able to be full autoed at, let's say, 10-meter longer distance. However, you would still have to burst fire at those longer ranges. And the most important thing about burst firing, and I've made, I don't even know, 15 videos about this, and it's still people don't understand it. The reason why spread is in Battlefield is because it is the best solution to controlling weapon engagement distances. End of story. There is no better way to do it. People always say, increase recoil a bunch. What are we going to do? Like, you would need to have PUBG level recoil. Literally. The Battlefield player base, they're not interested in that. They would never be able to play that game. Could you imagine Battlefield players, controller players, and all these people trying to control PUBG level recoil in a Battlefield title? It's not going to happen. And then people say, give the weapons a pattern or whatever. BF4 weapons had patterns. It's just you had to burst in order to extend the range of your weapon.
I felt like in BF3 specifically, I would say actually that there were more weapons where you had to pull left or right in addition to down.
Exactly.
Like there was more horizontal recoil. You don't want equal horizontal recoil, of course, because that's like terrible. But there was a lot that had, much more left or right pull. And I feel like that's just kind of gone. Like every weapon now, you just pull down.
Yes. In 2042, the recoil patterns are, you shoot at a wall. It is straight vertical. They need to bring back those biases, right? Whether it be a left bias or right bias, on top of spread really playing a factor and burst firing coming back. It's just the clearest thing I've ever seen for a Battlefield game. The solution for me is completely obvious. It's always been obvious. People love to say BF5 had the best gunplay. I I've pissed off a lot of people on the topic of BF5 gunplay. BF5's gunplay is actually, in my opinion, objectively the worst gunplay in the entire franchise. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's subtle though. So the casual player base doesn't understand why it's bad. But when you get to a certain skill level, you go, holy shit, the recoil's actually completely random. And they decoupled the point of aim from screen center. So you're aiming with a randomly influenced floating point.
Yeah.
Does not feel good. It's horrible. And I guess people don't know this because console for the longest time had less recoil. Same with 2042, it still has less recoil to this day. So the console player base doesn't notice it. The little mechanics, they're less noticeable. And then with Battlefield 5, how strong SLRs were. Like, you remember the Turner SMLE and the G43. Those weapons really weren't affected by the things full auto weapons were. So there were just a lot of cases where you could actually miss the things that were wrong with the BF5 system and the way it functioned, which is really unfortunate because, yeah. It was not.
I mean, they did say, like, I think they went back and looked at all games, and I hope they sort of took notes from all of them. I think they said at some point, we want to take all the best parts from all the best Battlefield games.
Yes.
So hopefully they've also disregarded all the worst parts from all the worst Battlefield games as well.
Yeah.
But like, there's already a really controversial thing in BF6, which is of course the different ammo types, which for anybody who doesn't know from the leaks, but in the gunsmith system, you can equip different types of ammunition, and they change the headshot multiplier. I want to say anywhere from like 0.23 to like 2.56 or something. I can't remember exactly, but
yeah.
How do you balance that?
You don't. What you do is, and I'm dead serious, you don't balance that. What you do is you remove that. I'm 100% serious. You cannot have an ammo type that, let's say the base headshot multiplier is for ARs 1.7. You cannot have an ammo type that suddenly makes the headshot multiplier 2.7 or 2.5. Because what you're doing is you are actively basically throwing BTK balance like out the window, because at that point you are reducing the weapon's BTK with a headshot by 1 and maybe even 2 in some cases, which again, it directly affects time to kill. Headshot multipliers should be set. They should not be changed via any attachment, and that's my opinion. I'm a hardline stance against any sort of ammo type that changes that.
You can make SMG deal 52 damage in the head, somebody says.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know what that, hey, you know what that does? So let's say the SMG has 900 RPM. Like, SMG is going to have a high RPM. That is probably, if you did the math, if someone wants to do the math, I'd love to know the exact number. 900 RPM, 2 BTK is what? 50 MS TTK? You're getting instantly killed.
That's almost my ping, dude.
Yeah, like you are killing people with Ghost Gaming's ping to the server. So like, what the fuck?
Do you not remember I think in 2042 when they nerfed the Vector, like, and I think they did a blanket nerf to the headshot multipliers for all the SMGs.
Yes.
Because the Vector was like a problem because of the rate of fire, and people just kept getting so many lucky kind of random headshots with it that the TTK was just kind of through the roof and like exacerbated by the rate of fire of SMGs and a lot of the lower rate of fire ones.
The discrepancy between the body shot BTK and the headshot BTK was so nuts because at range, the drop off was a lot, but if you hit a headshot, it's like boom, like that's 40 damage, 50 damage, whatever it was. Yeah. It's crazy.
Like you almost get one framed or something, it feels like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it would change it from a 5.6 BTK to a 2.3 BTK.
Yeah.
So they
is
can't have that.
Is this one of those systems like the class system where they're like, oh, this is going to be in the game, guys? Like,
yes. I don't think they'll change it. I don't.
Yeah.
If anything, I think they will reduce the amount the ammo changes headshot multipliers. I do not think they will completely change what these ammo types do. They should do that, but they won't. You're right about that. It's like the class system. I'd be surprised to see them completely go away from it.
Yeah. There's also other things in the class system I really don't agree with, like double primaries for the assault class, double launchers for engineers. Like,
I don't think double launch. Okay, I'll say this. I don't think double launchers for engineer is making it through labs. I really don't. That would be insane if they didn't, because they took it away in 2042. If you think about it, lists you can't have list missile and recoilless.
Yeah.
So I genuinely don't think. I think assault can have double grenade launcher too. I don't think that'll make it through labs. I don't think so.
No.
If that is in the case.
It feels like if it was a bug, they would have fixed it though. And like, who was the guy who put his hand up was like, I've got an idea. Can we have double launches? Like, said like, yeah, great idea.
Fantastic.
No, that never happened. Like, you should have shut that guy down right there and then. But like, okay, you can just leave this meeting. Like, your input is not required.
Go over there and sit down.
Like that's what kind of worries me a bit. Anyone could probably tell you that kind of stuff is going to be overpowered.
Yeah. The double primary though, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say they don't class lock weapons, and let's say they also don't get rid of I think it's the assault class, right? The assault class has double primary.
Yeah.
Dude, assault rifle shotgun, assault rifle SMG, shotgun SMG, like sniper shotgun, like holy shit. Why would you ever play another class, especially if people are complaining about this, but allegedly BF6 assault has like, med pens.
Yeah.
If they don't nerf the med pens and they get double primaries, I'm playing that class.
Like, in my opinion, it kind of throws the whole strategy around balancing your weapon in the gunsmith around having a magazine or not. Like, what kind of size magazine do you want? How fast reload and whatnot? That kind of just goes out the window if you can just press a button and you have another primary ready to go. It doesn't need to be reloaded. Surprisingly, a lot of people's reaction to this is they're kind of like, it's not a big of a deal. Like, I don't see this being. People said to me, oh, COD has, what is it called? Is
Overkill.
It Overkill? Overkill, yeah, the perk. They've had this for years. I'm like, this is not really directly comparable to COD, right? Not in terms of game size or anything.
Yeah.
You're and also like the other perks in COD are ridiculously overpowered to what you can get in Battlefield sometimes. So you're
stopping power to Battlefield.
Yeah. Sleight of hand, stopping you.
Add stopping power and then don't change the ammo headshot multipliers. So give me one less body BTK and then also let me change the headshot multiplier to like 2.7. Like a 2 BTK assault rifle. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Big disagree on that one being in there, but who knows? Maybe they'll make some changes.
Yeah. Then the last thing we'll talk about, and then we'll wrap this up and say goodbye to everybody. And chat, I'm gonna play the game after this. We're just we're gonna say goodbye to Ghost Gaming because I'm sure he's a busy man, traversing volcanic activity in Iceland. What are your thoughts on armor plates?
I don't want them.
Okay. There was a thing in 2042. I'm not sure if it still applies. You put the armor plate in. You headshot somebody. It would not headshot them. It would destroy the armor plate. I'm pretty sure that was a thing.
Yeah.
In 2042. And of course, people say they don't like them because it makes fights inconsistent and it changes the BTK of weapons and all that sort of thing. They changed that, Moose? Okay, yeah, okay. But that was a thing where you put the armor plate on your chest and it protected you from a headshot.
Yeah, they changed that. Yeah, they made it so your head is actually not protected by armor.
Yes. I do not care if they remove armor plates. If they put armor plates in the game, I'm going to use them. However, they can remove them and I will be just fine.
Yeah. To me, it's just a readability thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's the only thing it comes down to. I don't really think it adds much to the game. It's just kind of there. Of course, it's going to be in the Battle Royale, which we actually haven't talked about at all.
Yeah, maybe we could talk about that at a. I mean, do you want to talk about that? I don't know how much time you have or how long we want to make this, but
I can talk about it if you want to talk about it.
We'll talk. Chad, we're gonna talk about the Battle Royale. We're just going. We're just going. We can talk about the Battle Royale. So I got shit on for this. I continue to. In multiple tweets, multiple videos. I am absolutely adamant that EA is aware their core player base is not a fan of Battle Royale. EA is aware they don't want it. EA is also aware that that core player base is minute compared to the potential of a successful Battlefield Battle Royale, which is the entire point of them doing it again. People bring up Firestorm and Hazard Zone. Oh, they both failed. And they don't care. They brought in the big guns for this. They brought in Byron Bede, who I think created Warzone. And the speculation around the Battle Royale is that it will be most likely quite similar to Warzone, done in a Battlefield style, on top of it being free to play. My position is, even if you don't like Battle Royales in Battlefield, you don't like the idea, you're not interested, you're not going to play it, even if you don't like it or you're not going to play it, you should actively be rooting for it to succeed. Because if that succeeds, it's humongous for Battlefield. It will drive players to the multiplayer. It will overall be a big success point for the game. And I see people express concern like, oh, we don't want this to happen in Battlefield. You know, the same thing that happened with Warzone or something, where Warzone becomes their main focus and the multiplayer falls by the wayside. I don't think that will happen with Battlefield, because I think Battlefield's multiplayer portion is significantly less replaceable than Call of Duty's multiplayer portion. So I think at this point, they're going to do it. Let's hope it's good. Because we can't go, EA, stop. Don't fucking release this. They're going to release it. So
yeah, it's coming. Yeah, I'm kind of two minds on this, because like I've never really enjoyed Battle Royales. So like I don't really care in a sense, as long as it doesn't detract from the other game modes, like the main game modes. But if I am going to get into a Battle Royale, it's probably going to be this one. Like if they can make the vehicles play well in it, and that's kind of like they can apply their special Battlefield formula to Battle Royale, like I do think it could have potential. And just like you were saying, there is a massive audience out there of people who have their group of friends. They come home from school or work, they log on, they jump on with the boys, and they're playing whatever game, whatever Battle Royale extraction shooter that they can get on, right? And I think a lot of people or groups of players like this, they constantly hop between games, and whatever new hot game comes out, they jump on that. But Battle Royale is pretty old at this point. We're talking 2017, when like DayZ and then PUBG's coming out. You know, that's like 8 years ago. So it's hardly like the cool new thing. And I think a lot of people do just like to label it as well, it is pretty unoriginal, right? I mean, everyone's just been copying each other doing it. I mean, look at Splitgate 2 and that whole thing. Nobody seemed that excited when they announced the Battle Royale, right? They were like, oh, yay, cool, man. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not the most original thing they could have done.
It's not.
But it could work. It could work. We really don't know anything about it, though.
Yeah, there was that. I think there was the temporal leak, or someone else leaks the details about it, where like it would go through all the little things, and I think there was assignments that were detailed and all this, basically bounties from Warzone. Byron Bede, I'm not gonna lie, but from the leaks, it sounded like Byron Bede quite literally made Battlefield Warzone.
Yeah, I could believe that.
So we'll see. we'll see. From the leaks, it sounds like they brought back the Ring of Fire from BF5 Firestorm. That's gonna be sort of the identity of it. People have their opinions about, you know, Firestorm, but it's different this time because Firestorm was behind a paywall. This is gonna be free to play, which is makes all the difference in the world.
I'd just like to point out, by the way, that in Battle Royales, you do have 2 primary weapons. So, I'm just saying, as a thing.
Very
I have no idea if there's any connection there. Whether they did a little oops or something. But yeah.
We'll have to see how the classes play between the BR and the multiplayer, because that would be very interesting if that is the reason. Because maybe they actually want to keep the classes the same between the BR and multiplayer. They figured, okay, well,
yeah,
Assault is going to be able to carry 2 primaries, so
yeah, it could just be technicalities really that they can't have them closed because of Battle Royale. Like, you just need to be able to take whatever loadout. Like, you want to pick this Assault guy and you want to take this primary weapon, and it has to be any weapon you want. Or you open a crate or whatever, and oh, here's like a sniper rifle. I'm Assault. Okay, I can take this sniper rifle and use it. Maybe it's just, you know, like some integral programming thing that would just be a huge pain in the ass for them to not do that.
Yeah. Oh man. This next Battlefield is so like, there's just so much riding on it. It's crazy. Like this is probably, God, it might be the most it might be the most anticipated. It might be the most anticipated FPS game in a while.
Oh yeah, I think so.
In a while. So,
I think the hype is somewhat warranted more than usual this time though. Because
no, it is. It's kind of. I mean, I put out a video today. I was like, am I supposed to look at these leaks and not tell you guys what I'm fucking seeing? Like, this looks pretty good. I don't know. Like,
I was driving home listening to that, and I knew there'd be some haters in the comments.
That's fine.
So I checked when I got home, and I think this guy was going about, oh my god, like you're buying into the hype. And I've seen some people on Reddit saying similar stuff, but this time the main difference for me is that we actually have seen gameplay.
No, it's real. Normally, it's not like speculation. Normally, we can look at it.
Yeah. Like normally the hype is just based on that, like the Rendezvous cinematic that we got for 2042, and everybody lost their shit. Myself included, by the way. I'm not trying to like take any blame away from myself in that way. But yeah, we hadn't even seen gameplay. Whereas this time it's kind of just been all laid bare. Probably more than they wanted.
Oh, for sure. Dude.
But for good or for worse.
We both made videos, I think, where it's like, what are they doing with the leaks? Because at one point, I don't think that these leaks are up now, but it took them a long time to take them down. They were like 4K 60 FPS, hour-long, full rounds. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how is this on YouTube still? Because old EA, at least how I remember EA, old EA would have been like, yeah, we're sending you to jail. Like, we're shutting your whole channel down. We're sending people to get you. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, we're sending you to the labor camps in North Korea.
No, really, like we like we cannot do this. But now EA, I don't know what their approach is. Maybe people have always said this in my comments. They're like, the leaks are intentional. I'm like, okay. Intentional in what way? Like, the players are not like some EA plant that's fucking tasked by EA to go in there and leak this. Like, I suppose their point is EA is intentionally letting them stay up longer than they typically would have. So, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
They're turning a blind eye into it. But then they're copyright striking my ass, so I don't know, dude.
What?
They copyright struck me.
When?
I told you. You know this, dude.
I talked a lot of it. What? How recent was this?
Oh, this was like weeks ago.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
just for talking about stuff, you know. So I don't know. On the one hand, they're not doing anything, but then they kind of are doing stuff as well. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are there any talking points here or just rambling? Yeah, we can talk about you getting permanently banned from the chat. So that's about do it for the podcast. We went an hour and 30 minutes. We went over a lot of stuff. Went over movement, class system, battle royale, vehicles, that person getting banned, everything in between.
Yeah.
I was really fun. Thank you for being the inaugural guest on, I don't know what I'm going to call this, crop talk, battle talk. I have no idea. We'll send it with crop talk initially. Thank you for coming on. If you want to use this on your own channel, you know, that's totally fine. Whatever, do that. W's in the chat. And I don't know who the next guest is going to be. Do you have any suggestions, Ghost? Who should I try to get? I tried to get AKA Art. He's not having it.
No. You tried talking to Kat?
Not
see
yet.
If she's up for it? No.
I could do that.
See if she's up for it. She
might
be up to it. You got Gravity? What about Gravity?
Oh, okay.
He's probably got a lot of. We didn't even touch on map design.
Oh my god.
Well, we'll leave that.
We're gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to come back
for that. He's the man for that for sure.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to come back anytime.
Yeah. We'll have a Ghost Gaming episode 2 probably within the next 2 or 3 months. So thank you guys for watching the podcast, and if you did enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff. See you guys in the next one.
Cheers, guys.
All right, so that was the YouTube ending. We're not ending stream, by the way. I'm gonna play the game. But Ghost Gaming, you're awesome. Appreciate having you on.
No worries, man. No worries. Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
All right, I'll see you later, dude.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy Battlefield 2042.
Yeah. Stadium. Woo! Stadium.
Have a good one, dude. Take care.
See ya. Stadium. Let's go. Okay. So that was based. That will be uploaded on YouTube. I saw some people say upload on YouTube. It will be. Don't worry. Ghost is great. We're gonna have him on again for certain. Try to get Cadwoman on, maybe, you know? Try to get Cadwoman on. It'll be fun. I'm thinking frequency for the podcast, depending on guest availability. Every 2 weeks, give or take, perhaps. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play the game here in a second. Guys, what do you think about the name of the podcast? Crop talk. Are we going with crop talk? Is that really what we're going with? Is a Breckie would do it 100%. I could get Breckie on it for sure. I think the next guest is either going to be Cadwoman or an angry Redditor. If I can get an angry Redditor, that would be ideal. You titled the stream, not us. People aren't going to understand crop talk, though. That's the thing. They will not understand it.
Go to the line.
They will not get it, and that's a shame. It's their problem. Crop talk is goated. Oh god, fuck. Guys, did you notice how there was like black bars around the screen? I could pay an artist to have like fields of corn or something, or like it looks like stalks of corn surrounding the perimeter of the screen, and it could have like, you know, everyone's information under there, like all their links, like Ghost Gaming. It could have just Twitter and his Instagram and all that stuff, you know what I mean? That would be insane. Enders, what about Ghost Gaming? I literally just... Never mind. This is rage bait. Chrome, thanks for gifting a sub to Ghost Gaming. Am I the only one upset about the ammo and health regen being in the same class? If that's how it works in BF6, I don't know, dude. It's interesting.
Took one out.
What format of video would be preferable for your top plays? I don't know, like MP4, .mov,
Go to the line, people.
Google Drive link, right? You can send me a Google Drive link. That's another thing. You don't have to send me the raw file. You can send me the raw file. But you can also send me a Google Drive link, you know what I mean? Just make sure I can access the drive. That's the big thing. You know? What time is the podcast? You already missed it. You just ended. It just ended with Ghost Gaming. It went longer than I thought it would. That was pretty fun. It was good. We talked about a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna edit it. And then put it on YouTube to condense it. Live is really cool. Yeah, I figured I'd do the podcast live because, dude, why am I getting Discord sounds? Hello? Fix that. Nobody's playing the game. Get Drunksy on the podcast. Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, 100%. I'll hit up Gravity. I'll hit up everybody. Get Rella on. Yeah? Rella is an elusive man. I heavily doubt he would be willing. I doubt he cares, to be honest, man. You know? Jesus Christ, PlanetSide 2 has more players than this game. I don't think that's actually true.
Grenade thrown. Here I go. One down. Need a second to reload.
Hello?
Enemy soldier, mark!
Oh. Get on your boy, Marcus Leto. What? Yeah, let me casually ask the creator of Halo to come on the podcast. Yeah, let me... I mean, he does follow me on Twitter. But, yeah. Nice revive. It's fucking... What? Did you guys hear that?
Got one of them. Need to reload. Up we go. Got one.
What the fuck? This is not good.
Down one of them.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
One down.
Dude, it's just one of those things where my team is dog shit and we're immediately spawn trapped and that's it. The game's over. Like, that's it. Like, that is genuinely the extent of the gameplay. The game is done. It's completely over with. Like...
Throwing grenade. Three on my mark.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, GG, right? Just GG. Team's dog shit, can't kill anyone, we're spawn trapped, game's over. Simple. It's just Wow, wait, whoa. Team fully flipped it in like no time at all. Makes no sense. Absolutely no sense.
Away we go.
You get Matimio. I doubt it. It's not real. Just like literally stop shooting because he should be dead, but okay.
Marking threat. Cover me, I'm reloading. Out there, let's move. Disregard that order.
Yeah, I remember this map came out and they're out of bounds glitches. Yeah. This game was certainly special in that regard, you know?
Enemy fire team.
A lot of extremely special things happen in this game. Yeah. Yeah, I'm bored as fuck. I can't even lie to you. This game has instantaneously destroyed my mood within probably 10 minutes. Who said Stade and I don't have common ground? I've never even spoken to him, you know? I heavily doubt Stade would do it. Heavily doubt. You know, what it...
Man down, friendly down.
Stade plays COD, bro, you know? Like...
Reloading now.
I think X Factor secretly hates me. And I wouldn't want to, I honestly don't know if I would want to talk to X Factor.
Friendly is down.
Oh. This game is so cancer.
Threat. Stay back.
It's just the absolute worst feeling video game of all time.
Reloading, cover me. On my way.
Jack Frag, dude, I don't know how much pull you think I have, you know? Jack Frags is not going to talk to me. Like,
It is not safe to approach me. Tango down! Tango down!
cancer. So boring. It's just so boring. This stupid moron. Oh, God.
Down!
Wait a minute. Why is my team dead here? Of course, and then I just get sweat. Cancer. Just cancer. It's cancer.
Up we go.
Absolutely unplayable cancer. The game is so fucking boring. Game is so boring, bro. It's just such a talentless, momentum-based piece of shit. It really is. It's just absolutely the most boring fucking game I've ever played in my entire life. Just get loaded in a game, and your experience is just purely dependent on if your team is actually playing the game. Just get loaded in the game, and you're on the wrong side. You're just on the wrong side. To be fair, you're playing Redacted. Redacted has absolutely nothing to do with it at all. Just literally nothing to do with it at all.
Looks like the wait's over.
Nothing to do with it.
Right side. Right on the map. 200 meters. Marking danger.
God.
Enemy infantry. Hostile troops. Around 90 meters from my position.
What the fuck? Where is the audio? Not a sound! Not a fucking sound of this person! Oh my god.
Marking enemy device. 60 meters from my position.
I missed crop talk, didn't I? It'll be uploaded on YouTube, don't worry. Blame me some... What's up, Sloth? Blame me some pimpin' man. What? I would say get nept on the podcast, but it would only be an hour long. Holy fuck. Dude. Yeah, we'd need like 6 hours for that, I think.
Looks like the wait's over.
We could need 6 hours for that. X Factor's pretty vocal about Twitter. Vocal about BF6 on Twitter. He's like, I mean, maybe he'd do it. I don't know. You know what? Yeah. Get X Factor on and then we talk about Gunplay. Because he hates spread, I think. I think he's an anti-spread person. It'd be really fun. It'd be pretty funny to talk to him about Gunplay, I think. He agrees with you on spread? Does he? Does he? Get Sabello? I don't think bro speaks English. Habla inglés, you know? Middle-aged loser is this guy's name. Crazy.
Up we go. Enemy soldier marked. In my area. Grenade!
No.
We go. Hostile fire team, around 50 meters from my position.
Casual, do you want to come on the show and talk about your hatred for like boxes? LOL, idiot! Stop.
Got this. Got a fucking way. Enemy device armed. 50 meters from my position.
How do you make a game feel like that? You know, it's really just amazing.
Reloading. Watch my back. Tango spotted. West. Hostile spotted. Marking threat. Tango marked.
Anders, have you ever lost a fair 1v1 in this game? Duh, yeah. Probably, yeah, duh. Now, the better question is, Enders, have you ever played the game? And the answer is no. Here's why. Mouse input doesn't work. No one's ever played Battlefield 2042. Nobody. We've never actually played the game. Also about that title, Enders doing a podcast discussion. Did you miss it? We did it. We did an hour-and-a-half segment with Ghost Gaming. It'll be up on YouTube pretty soon. I don't know about tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. But what? I'm thinking Thursday maybe. I'll upload that. Mouse input is an escrow, yeah. So true, so true. Ooh. 777 Laszlo, thanks for the follow. Yeah! Stadium, yeah! Let's go. Use the P90.
Here I go.
I'll probably be able to cut down the podcast to about, I don't know.
Took one out.
Maybe do about an hour and 10 minutes. The game is not real, man. But Easy Bake Evan 7. Easy Bake Evan 7 is crazy. what's real anymore. I don't know.
Hostile located. 90 meters away from my position.
Stop. Please stop. Please stop.
Marking danger. Disregard that order.
Yeah, I think getting Gravity on the podcast to talk about map design in particular would be pretty insane. That'd be really cool. We could like bring up screenshots of other maps and just be like, oh, I love this map, or this map makes me want to destroy my entire setup. You can now get banned in Delta Force if you edit INI files. Okay. It's no problem for me. In fact, let me do it right now.
One down. You're welcome.
There was something Delta Force announced that Focus might want to play in. It's like some sort of Delta Force tournament thing. I don't know, dude. Like, he messaged me about it. I'm not so sure how I feel about it.
Near my position.
Oh, I'm bored as fuck, dude. Now my team is already dog shit. Now there's just sweats on the enemy team. So we lost. It's over. It's fucking completely over. This shit is done. This shit is absolutely done. Just the mouse input doesn't work. You can't actually aim in the game. It's fucking disgraceful. Fire every fucking person responsible for it. It really is just that simple. Like, my mouse doesn't move when I aim hit, so I don't know. It's just like, you literally can't move it. It's fucking hilarious. You cannot aim in the game. The mouse does not work. It is not on. It's just absolutely the least representative thing I've ever laid eyes on in my entire life. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what to tell you. If you can't feel how bad the mouse feels in this game, I really don't know what to tell you. Like, it is the most blatant, obvious, disgusting thing ever. It is the most obvious thing about the game. What is going on in this server? What?
Ha! Got one! I'm going!
What the hell's going on? Two more hours of this or 4 hours of Delta Force? How about I permaban you? How about that?
Danger located. 60 meters away from your position. Multiple enemies. Located supplies. Enemy soldier marked. 110 meters away. Hostile soldier!
The developer console? Why? Oh.
Hostile down!
No, dude. No. This can't be in the game.
Grenade for him!
Are you too? Oh, this game is so fucking cancer.
I got this. Baddies, 50 meters from my position. That's a hostile!
What?
Away we go.
This game's mouse input is dead. Like, what? And that's just a hit reg, too. Like, hello? Any way to disable dev console? Yeah, just unbind it. Pretty sure.
Got one. Attack that objective.
Just kill me. I mean, really, just kill me. And there's the next Battlefield is going to be Game of the Year, guaranteed. Really. Thank you. Thank you for the guarantee, man. I was worried, you know?
Enemy spotted. Northeast.
I love shooting AI. This is like awesome.
Multiple threats. Oh.
We need to capture the bridge point on the left. D1 is easy. The bridge point's the problem. It's always been the problem.
Right on the map. 200 meters away.
Just sitting in the back of the fucking map.
Careful at the marker. Enemy soldier marked. Tangle marked. Tangle on my mark. 90 meters.
Is there any real person?
Danger here. Hostile sighted. Disregard that order. Danger zone! Hostile, over there!
Hmm.
Threat mark!
There's so many AI now.
Danger on the map! West! Take control of that objective! Threat sighted! Marking threat! South! Hostile located! Northeast!
Ah.
Hostile spotted!
Guys, we need to capture D2 before we get D1.
Infantry on my mark! Northwest! Careful at the marker! Grenade out!
Oh. Well, I got him with a grenade. Lol but lol! Gunship. And UH-60. And UH-60. And get me in the fucking gunship now, thank you. Teammates, we need to get D2.
Marking threat! 300 meters! Marking the hostile! 130 meters!
Are you an objective? Because you're D1 for me. Also happy early birthday from 1 June baby. to mother.
Crazy. Crazy. Crazy.
Watch your step in the marker!
I mean, as long as you keep letting me do this, I'm gonna
90
keep doing
meters
it,
away
you know?
from your position. Disregard that order. Pack a baddie. Right on the map. Never mind. Watch your step in the marker. 40 meters away from my position. Enemy fire team, sighted. Hostile sighted.
Yakiniku Party, thank you so much for the 27 months. Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you for the happy early birthday. There will be a birthday stream. I will be ruining my entire birthday with this game, more than likely. But that's fine.
Danger on the map! Stop! Scratch that. Multiple hostiles! Multiple tangos! Marking threat! Marking a threat! Danger on the map!
I'm sorry. To Scarlett, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Thank you. God, that map on attack is actually just kind of brutal. How old will you be? I will be 27.
Toe to the line, people.
Hooray. You turn 32 tomorrow? We share a birthday? Let's fucking go, dude. Hamwell, thanks for the 2 gifted, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Turned 41 in May?
Fight smart and stay
Devastating.
alive.
Dude. It's okay, though. You're still him, bro. You're still... Ages. You're still just fine. Everything's good. It's over. Using the AS Val, and if I'm disappointed in it, I'm gonna be sad.
I'm reloading. Ammunition for you.
Hey, are you looking up here, man? Absolute cancer. Fire the fucking moron that designed this point. It's absolutely disgusting dog shit. It's fucking horrible. Seriously, just absolutely horrible design. Of course. It's just unplayable cancer, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the developers didn't actually want you to play the game in that sector. They were like, you know what? We fucking hate our player base. We actually hate each and every single one of you. Fuck you. And we're making redacted breakthrough. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're making redacted breakthrough. Fuck you. And that's what they said when they were making it. Sweet Lord in heaven. This fucking game. No, Ace, I'm gonna upload it as a YouTube video. Look on my YouTube channel in a couple days. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. Don't worry. If you missed the podcast, I will make it a YouTube video. Okay. Enders, I feel your pain. Come to Norway and fish with me on my boat. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
Maria Falk reporting for duty.
Discarded breakthrough. Yeah, yeah. I agree, Yakiniku. FedEx employee. Or FedEx employee. He's getting defensed. Driving this cab brawler. He missed. He died. Anyone want to go in my cab brawler, man? Hello? Get in here. With Top Gunners, we got a bunch of shit in here. It's like a fiesta, all right? You explode and die now. Dude, the secure boot thing really heavily hit this game's player base, for sure. People saw you have to turn secure boot on, and they were like, I'm not doing that to play this piece of shit, and they uninstalled it. I swear to God, that's what happened. My turn and radius, please. No.
Hostile on the map, around 50 meters from my position.
I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just like driving this thing around. Devastating.
Marking a hostile, 50 meters from my position.
What an idiot. Oh my God.
Hostile on the map. Tango mark, 40 meters away from my position.
Man. Kill him, guys.
Tango spotted.
Get a Scandinavian flick this thing in the hairpin. Yeah, I don't think this thing has the capability. And now you blow up and die.
Danger! Northwest! Holy shit, they are...
This fucking vehicle. LOL! I blocked the missile! LOL! Hello. Yeah, fuck you. Did you see that guy? Did you see where that guy was? Backing up. Backing up. Excuse me. Backing up. Oh my god! This thing is so cringe. Oh no. No. This thing just causes like mass confusion and terror. It really does. I'm driving in a circle. What are you gonna do about it? Driving in a fucking circle. Uh-oh. What? Didn't squash that guy? Come here. I'm so disappointed, dude. Explosion. And you fucking died, okay? He missed? Ow! Is he alive? There's no, I landed the bitch on him. What? This is behavior that's so fucking yikes. I did hit APS right at the last second there. Easy. Oh no. No. Where are my bullets going? Can anyone tell me where my bullets are going? Does anybody know where my literal fucking bullets that I'm shooting inside of the... Ugh.
Hostile 250 meters away. Watch out at the marker. Spotted an enemy vehicle 200 meters away. Enemy soldier marked 130 meters. Spotted a hostile device. Spotted an open vehicle. Scratch that. Danger here! On me! Enemy soldier there! Hostile located! Southeast! Enemy soldiers! Took one down. You with me? Hey! Hey! Lone Tango! Tango spotted! North! Tango on my mark! Hostile located! Great work! Danger located! Tango spotted! 170 meters! Hostile fire team! Outgoing!
I didn't think there was a guy up here.
Multiple threats! Southeast!
I did not think that. Brian Amato, thanks for the $2 super chat on YouTube. I hope your birthday's great. Thank you, dude. Thank you very much. Yeah! Ugh, you know? BF6 is gonna be good for your mental health. Oh, let's hope. Let's hope so. Doesn't need to be anything spectacular. All it has to do is be good, and it'd be a lot easier. You know, everything would be a lot easier. Content would be more fun to make. You know. Hello, Gustavo. At Enders, can you help me? I don't know. No idea. Suffering from getting a few kills and getting killed a lot. Yeah, I mean, I can hit, yeah. Sign up for Metafy coaching. Exclamation point METAFY. I also have a tips and tricks playlist on my YouTube channel. Defense. What is this map called? Haven. Yeah, God, it's so forgettable, you know? I'm using the NTW50. Thank you, Nick.
Careful at the marker. Around 90 meters from
Let
my
me
position.
smash.
And let me use my Toys R Us.
Hostile soldier. Careful at the marker. Soldier marked. Enemy infantry, west! Multiple hostiles! Marking danger!
Jesus.
As your big Baron the Bit Gods have entrusted me to deliver these
Oh!
to you an early happy birthday. Take good care of these bits. You will need them
Oh!
to cross over into the afterlife.
Oh, shit. Little Hoons with the 10,000 bits. Thank you very much for the 10 billion bits, dude. Holy fuck.
Hostile mark!
The Bit Baron himself.
Threat mark!
Thank you for the early birthday wishes. Appreciate it.
Tangle mark!
What am I doing on my birthday? Probably nothing. I don't know. I don't really care. There's gonna be a birthday stream. I know that. This weapon is just like, who put it in the game, you know?
Took one down. Danger here! Northwest! Hostile sighted!
This has got to be the cheapest shit in the game. It just has to be the most
Tango! West!
brutally stupid weapon in the game.
Throw grenade! Cluster's coming in packed. Second. Hostile spotted! Northwest! One down!
Oh. I feel like you should try reaching out to Ravik. Ravik would never in a million years do it. Never. Never in a million years. I also don't think music would either, but we'll see. I mean, maybe...
Enemy infantry! Hey, hostile! Located a fire team! Hostile, over there! Tango spotted! 70 meters away from my position. That's a hostile fire team! Multiple hostile! Need a second to reload! Grenade out! Hostile mark! 40 meters from my position. Multiple enemies. Got eyes on hostile. Enemy soldiers!
It's the most retarded gun in the game. It's just so fucking stupid. Like,
Back of bag, 50 meters away from my position. Spotted a hostile. Marking threat. Watch your step at the marker.
unfortunate. The fuck is this gameplay? It's just broken. Like, it's just, like, you hit ADS and you're just accurate immediately. Like, it's just stupid.
150 meters.
That's pretty much how every sniper works, but because this thing one taps to the body, I mean, it's just so forgiving.
Threat located.
So forgiving. How's this guy alive?
Multiple enemies around 90 meters from my position. Right at the marker. Scrap. Threat located. Tangle 90 meters away from my position. Enemy tag located. Hostile located. Northwest. Tango down. See a hostile fire team. Hostile fire.
I legit cannot see this person. He's legitimately throwing C4 at me.
Motherfuckers on the loose! Danger on the map!
You make this look so easy, though. It is easy. You gotta have the position, and you gotta have the pre-aim. That's it. Position, pre-aim, done. They're dead. Like, if you have any sort of decent aim, they're dead.
Go!
Any.
Hostile fire team sighted! Northwest! One down! Threat located! Grenade out! Take cover! One down! Woo! Tango spotted! One down! Target down! Grenade, watch it!
What the fuck?
Tango down! That's a hostile fire team! Hostile sighted! Nice work, everyone. Enemy soldier, there! Tango spotted! Go Tango! There's a tank! Enemy tank! I'm reloading!
Damn. That's how brain dead the NTW50 is. Yeah, wow. That was just completely broken. Sniper's one shot to the chest again. The NTW50, which is what I was using, is the only sniper in the game that does that. It's just absolutely busted, you know.
Toe to the line, people.
Plus, I got my my stupid looking like Toys R Us weapon skin. You know, look at this shit. It's Nerf or nothing. I mean, look at the fucking muzzle brake. It's so big I can't even put it on screen. Look at this. Look at the muzzle brake on this thing. Like, what? It just does not make any sense. All right. Easy Mog. W stream. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Hoons, again for the 10,000 bits. The 10,000 fucking bits. Holy. Thank you guys for the resubs. Rodden, Toscalis, Yakiniku, Crone for the gifted, Hamwell for the gifted, Focus for the resubs, Golgothic, Omni Beat Boop. Thank you guys for the subs. Thank you guys for following. If you missed the podcast with Ghost Gaming, I will upload it on my YouTube channel, okay? Like an edited version that's easier and flows better, you know what I mean? So if you missed the full podcast, I will be uploading it. Also, if you didn't know, Battlefield Top Plays are coming back. Send your clips in watchable, acceptable quality to submitbattlefieldtopplays@gmail.com. It's in the description of my video today, and it will be in the description of every video moving forward, okay? So send your clips in. Console is allowed. All Battlefield games are allowed. All right. Thank you guys so much. Birthday stream tomorrow. Birthday stream tomorrow will be pretty fun, hopefully. I'll see you guys later.